Hey kids, Melissa by the Allman Brothers. It's a great song. Some nice guitar playing of all kinds. We're going to talk about the rhythm guitar today. Okay, I think there's another video on my channel somewhere about this song. I'm pretty sure that there is. One day I'm going to organize my channel. Perhaps one of you wants to do it for me. Okay, E, F sharp minor of sorts, except it's an F sharp minor shape. First finger at the second fret of the G, and third and fourth fingers at the fourth fret of the A and D strings, respectively. Speak slower, cone. And then just move that shape up to a G sharp minor shape, but you have the droning E and B strings and low E string at the same time. So technically speaking, this would be an E major 7 chord, and this would be an F sharp minor 11 chord. But no one cares. I don't care. Do you care? No. Okay, great. And that's a good old E chord. I like to make this E chord with my second, third, and fourth fingers, because that way I can just slide into position with these other chords. And the trick is minimizing the sounds. And you do that by totally releasing the fingers off of the A and D strings and guiding on the index finger on the G string. You'll get a little bit of, but you won't get a lot of. Okay, sometimes that's not a bad thing, but when you're doing this, maybe less. Okay, fine. The other thing that you do to minimize that is that you use the open E string, oh, I just muted it, to mask the transitions between chords. You'll notice it's like 1, 2, 3 E, and E, and. On the and of 4, 1, 2, 3 E, and, 1, 2, 3 E, and, 1, 2, 3 E. And I'll do a little bit of a rest stroke there on there. I'll actually pluck the string and land on the A string below it. You get a nice fat tone that way, which is what everybody wants. And so you can see I'm using, I can take my hand, clear it off, and pick my nose, but I won't do that, I promise. That was kind of sloppy. Okay, great, get that down. Then it goes into the verse. See if I can remember. In the come and go. Flies from those. Okay, so then we go to an A chord, and this is very controversial how one chords this. It depends on what you're doing. If you're doing this all by yourself, you might want to keep that same texture, so you could play the A chord this way. And then, what is that chord? It's really an A major chord with the third in the bass. Of the bass player. So it's really what we're happening, A, B minor, really kind of C, A. But that's terrible, it sounds bad. I can do it that way, right? It sounds not so great in this context. So something simpler you can do is A, B minor, C sharp minor over the A, you get kind of an A major 7 texture to it, and then D. And then you can play this just an A shape. If you like, you can use these 3 fingers. I'm just D string, G string, and B string like so. So it's A, B minor, C sharp minor over A major 7, and D. And if you like, and I like, I will actually not put a finger on the D string so that I get the root of the D chord in there. It just sounds a little fuller to my ear. I like the way it sounds better. Okay, great. Something like this. And then it's just a little bit stronger move. I like the way that sounds. If you're playing this in a band context, then I would just honestly play straight up A chord, D, or actually I would play them probably this way. A, D, A, D. Just straight up like that, because the rest of the band is covering the chords, you know, covering the bass line and covering the rest of the stuff. So you can make your life easy. And if you like that texture, then you could, if you were as a solo accompaniment, you could do it that way too. Talk slower cone. Okay, don't forget, people, or remember, whichever you like. There's a control somewhere here on YouTube where you can slow me down, and probably that's a good idea because I talk too fast. Okay, so this one too, you could do A, B minor. You could do it A that way. First, second on the G string, third finger on the D string. It's a little bit harder to make the transition, so if you're singing, maybe not so. Notice I'm making the transition a little bit differently because I'm not actually using the open A string to get between them, so. Oh, because it's twice, it's two beats per chord. 1, 2, and 1, 2, and a 1, 2, and a. And so what I actually do, what I find I'm doing here, is I'm going 1, 2, and a. I'm still using the open A string to make the transition, but on the last up strum, 1, 2, and a, like that. 1, 2, and a 1, 2, and a. I'll just release the pressure on the strings so that they're not pushing down anymore, but they're muting the strings so that when I up strum, I just get the open A chord. Oh, somebody else, telephone clingled, just one moment. Now they're gonna call back 3 times. Hold on. Telephone clingled. Okay, here we go. Like so. Like that. Oh, you can hear it. You can use also the open E ring on the top. I like the open A string ringing just a little bit better. Okay, I gotta go. And then we go back to the E. And then we get to this A chord. You could put your first finger on there to play the bass on there, fine. And then a beautiful C major 7 chord by making an F shape at the 8th and 10th frets and leaving the B and E strings open, as we're doing on all of these E-shaped chords on the lower strings, and then